Hi everybody, it's Laura from Green Tree, and today we're doing Unusual Foods Part 2. There were a couple of requests in the comments of the first Unusual Foods video, so I'm going to touch on those plus a couple of other additional things. If you tune into this and you come up with any questions about foods that you wanted to ask, go ahead and throw them out there in the comments and I'll get to them in the next one, because I kind of feel like there's a lot of unusual foods out there that we could keep talking about, so I'll probably revisit this again. All right, so the first one we're starting with is a request from last time, and it is forbidden rice. Now, the thing about forbidden rice is we don't actually have it, so I'm going to talk about it anyway, but all I've got is a picture for you. So forbidden rice is a black rice. This is what it typically looks like, but there are actually quite a few different kinds. Some of them are long grain, some of them are short grain, just like you'll find with white and brown rices. Most black rices, and forbidden rices is just another name for black rice, are kind of sticky. They have a nice nutty flavor. When I've cooked them in the past, I've found that to be a little bit more pronounced, similar to a brown rice versus a white rice, which is kind of nice. The reason that it's this color is it contains a lot of an antioxidant called, and I think I'm pronouncing this right, anthocyanin. That is the antioxidant that makes eggplants purple, that makes grapes dark in color, that makes blueberries the color that they are. It's a naturally occurring compound found in lots of different plants. And when you cook it, it will turn the water purple. That's something that I found when I had made it. It was really kind of an interesting effect, was that it does turn the water purple as you cook it. It tastes really good, and the reason that it is called forbidden rice is not that there's anything bad about it or scary about it. It's that in the period of time when it started to become prevalent, it was less common because it originally sprouted from a mutation from other types of cultivated rice. And so it was pretty rare, and they had to kind of breed the different ones over and over again to get that mutation to be reliable enough that there was a strain of black rice. And so it was really expensive, and only the upper classes of people could kind of afford to eat it. And so it wasn't exactly that it was forbidden so much as you really couldn't get it. So that's forbidden rice. A second request from last time was ginger root. What to do with fresh ginger root? A lot of people are familiar with this. We call it ginger root, but it's not a root, it's a rhizome. This is like turmeric root, or if you have a spider plant and you've ever repotted it and you see all of those little white things that kind of fill up the pot, it's essentially a food storage device for a plant. And you can see it's kind of fleshy looking. It's very thick and both kind of fibrous and wet at the same time, because it is storing food for the plant. And that's what a rhizome is versus a flat out root. So what to do if you want to use this? There are a lot of different ways. Pretty much all of them start with kind of chopping it into chunks and stripping this peel off, because it has kind of a shiny, dry surface. If you're going to juice it, you can just chop it in chunks and right through the juicer without taking the skin off. But for pretty much every other application, you're going to want to take it off. Not because there's anything wrong with it, but it's chewy and it doesn't have a lot of flavor and it doesn't have any juice in it. So you would peel it, chop it, and you could throw it into your stir fry, your sauce, whatever you were wanting to do, just as is. You could press it to get the juice out, or you could even candy it, which is a cool process where you cook it in essentially like a simple syrup. So it's a highly saturated sugar solution, and you would cook this in it until the sugar permeates the ginger. Typically it's cut into little chunks or medallions if you're going to do that, and then you would let it dry and you could eat it as candy, which is kind of cool. So that's a few of the ways that you would use fresh ginger root. The main thing is, when you want to use it, peel it. And once you've cut an end, like when you have broken this, instead of just snapping it off, you should refrigerate it, because those ends will be moist and it can get kind of moldy and funky if you don't keep it refrigerated after that. Even when it's dried out, you can still use it. It's just a lot harder to work with. So there's fresh ginger root for you. Yuba noodles. This is kind of a new one. Well, new for us. It's something that is fairly popular in other parts of the world, but it's starting to make inroads into the American diet, and so I thought I would bring them out today. This is a brand that we carry. Yuba is a type of noodle, not a brand. Yuba noodles are made from, the best that I can describe it is when soy milk is made, there's a kind of a cream layer or a fat layer that rises to the surface, similar to if you were letting whole cow's milk rest, or if you were making coconut milk and you get that thick layer of cream on the top. And they take that nutrient-dense cream off of that soy milk and make it into these little noodles, these little sheets of noodles. They have a bit of chewiness to them, the way that fresh pasta would. They can be used just like this. This one is sesame flavor. You can literally eat them cold as is. They're ready to go. It's like the way you could, if you want to, bite into a block of tofu. There's no additional cooking required. But if you want to, you can heat them. They would be a good addition to a stir fry with this sesame flavor. You could toss them into a salad with some heavy greens like kale or even beans. And one of the suggestions that the company makes is actually using them as a filling for a lettuce wrap, because they are very high protein for a noodle. They're gluten-free, they're vegan, they do contain soy, because like I said, they are, made from that kind of cream layer that rises when you're making soy milk. But this brand at least is certified organic, and because it's certified organic, you can know that it's a non-GMO soy. So that's a definite bonus. And like I said, it's a really nice high protein thing. You can see in the package, there's 17 grams of protein per serving, and that's all a plant-based protein. So it's a nice convenient kind of lunch that's gonna stick with you too, even if you just decide to eat it by itself and not mix it with other things. So those are Yuba noodles. We also have a spicy flavor, which I haven't tried yet, but I'm looking forward to. So if you're curious, you can come down and check those out. All right, so let's see. Oh, jackfruit. So I've talked about jackfruit before. I did a whole video on it, but I didn't really touch on the fact that it can be used sweet pretty often, because it's been hard for us to get sweet. What you normally see is young jackfruit. And the young jackfruit is the kind that is used in things like sandwich fillings, as a replacement for stuff like pulled pork. It's used in savory dishes like curries and stir fries, and that's what this canned stuff is, and that's what you're going to see the most of. Because it's young, it hasn't yet gotten all of the sugars in it that the mature fruit will have, and that's why it takes on flavors so well. But when jackfruit is mature, it is sweet. I mean, it is a fruit. So we brought in this frozen one, which is really cool. These are already processed. You don't have to go and take all the seeds out of these. These are they're petals, essentially, is what they are. They're petals that form around seeds inside of the jackfruit, and that's kind of what a mature jackfruit looks like. But these can be as big as well over 100 pounds, a mature jackfruit. And they're kind of bumpy and green on the outside, and then they have seeds inside them. And these petals, they're actually sort of inverted flowers, like a fig, grow around the seeds, and that flesh is what's pulled off and used for food. That's what's in the can that I showed you. And then this is the mature variety, where they're really nice and sweet, and these can be used in like smoothies. You could cook them and have them in any kind of fruit dessert, like a chutney type of a thing, or the way you would make like a strawberry rhubarb sauce, you could use jackfruit in something like that, and it would have a nice tropical flavor. So that's about jackfruit. Oh, and jackfruit is native to India, so you're not going to see any trees in Michigan, in Mount Pleasant, but you can get the fruit. And this is a heck of a lot easier than finding one and taking it apart. So if you wanted to try the sweet version, if you've tried the savory, that's what this is. And then I'm going to do, let's see, one more for you guys today. So this is something that we just got, and this is really interesting. It is CBD sparkling water. I literally didn't know this existed until earlier today, so I was kind of excited to be able to try it out and bring it in. I tried the blood orange. It comes in, we have 3 flavors. There's blood orange, I gotta check and make sure I get it right, guava, and lavender lemon. So they're like a traditional sparkling water. They don't have any added sugar or anything, but they've got the CBD in them. They have 5 milligrams per can, which is pretty cool. I think it's a neat way to get it, because if you have trouble swallowing the capsules, but you don't like the flavor of the liquid or the gummies, you can do this, and I, like I said, tried the blood orange, and it really just tastes like sparkling water. There's a very slight hempy aftertaste that does come through, but it's pretty mild, and for the most part it's like drinking a regular sparkling water. So you get the advantage of hydrating, you don't have to deal with the flavor, and it doesn't matter if you can't swallow pills. 5 milligrams is, depending on the person, you know, how much of a dose that would be, but it's sort of in the middle in terms of the average amount you'll find in a supplement. Enough to be calming, potentially for some people enough to actually be really pain relieving, but you would have to try it yourself and see how it works out for you. Like I said, we got 3 different flavors of this, and this one is the one I'm actually sampling today. I thought it was, like I said, really cool because I didn't know there was even a water-soluble option available. But we have it in now, and you can try it. So again, today's were forbidden rice, whole ginger root, jackfruit, Yuba Noodles, and CBD Seltzer Water. So if you want to come down and ask any questions about those, I'll be doing this probably about till 6. You can try the seltzer waters. Normally they're only in 6-packs, but for today I do have some singles that you can get if you just want to try it out. So this is a good time to come down, see what they're like. And if you have any questions about it, let me know. If you have any suggestions for other unusual foods that you want to know about, put them in the comments, because 2 of the foods that I covered today were suggested after the last video. So, oh, thanks, Nikki. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you guys have questions, I do read the comments and I do try to respond to them as much as I can. So hopefully I'll see you down here, and if not, I hope you all have a beautiful Tuesday. Thanks for watching and checking out some new unusual foods. Bye.